Connections Through Culture Grants 2024 information session. Today's session is on Tuesday, the 23rd of July. And my name is Lavina. I am from the arts team in the British Council Indonesia. And today I am joined by my colleagues from Myanmar, from Indonesia, of course, from China, as well as colleagues from other countries in the region. And my colleagues and I will try our best to answer as many questions as we could within the next hour or so. And if there's any outstanding questions that we are not able to respond to, we have an inquiry form that we will be sharing the link with everyone where you could put more specific questions, and then we will try our best to respond that in due time. So we will start with some housekeeping. This session will last for around 1 hour. The presentation is about 30 minutes, and then after that will be followed by question and answer. The session will be recorded, and we will be sharing the session recording on our YouTube channel. So if you do not wish to be recorded, please switch off your video and keep your microphone muted, please. We will also be circulating the link to the recording as well as the PDF file of this presentation after the meeting. And please kindly mute yourself when you're not speaking to the group, or someone from my team will be switching off your mic if you forget to mute your mic. During the presentation, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box, and my team and I will be taking turns responding to them as much as we can. And we will be also addressing questions during the Q&A as well. During the Q&A session, if you have any questions, you could use the raise hand function, and then someone from our team will ask you to use your mic to address your questions to us. And so again, this session will be recorded. If you are interested in applying for this grant, you must have a good level of English or have support from someone with good level of English, either a translator or an interpreter. And it is very useful to ensure that there is a smooth communication. So what is the Connections Through Culture? It is essentially a grants program run by British Council in the UK and countries in Asia Pacific. This program aims to develop exciting cultural exchanges and collaborations between artists, arts professionals, organizations, and designed to support long-lasting relationships between people from Asia Pacific and the UK. The 2024 edition of the Open Call is accommodating applications from the UK and Asia Pacific countries, including Australia, Bangladesh, the mainland of China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, New Zealand, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Thailand, as well as Vietnam. The deadline is on the 2nd of September, 2024. And then the application process will take place, the application process will take place roughly about 2 months. And then we aim to do the contracting by the end of the calendar year for the funds to be transferred by January 2025. And then we also be accepting project proposals that must be completed by October 2025. So please be mindful when you create the proposals and the timeline of your project. In terms of the grant value itself, if it is an application between UK and Australia and UK and New Zealand, it is for up to a maximum amount of 5,000 British pounds sterling. And for the other countries are for up to GBP 10,000. Again, it is open for individuals, organizations, collectives, companies, and any sort of legal entity. What can the grants be used for? It could be for the delivery of digital projects, or face-to-face projects, or a hybrid blend of both. A different approach can be employed, for example, for residencies, for exhibitions, festivals, showcases, projects that focus on digital innovations, such as art and creative tech, conferences, panels, discussions, creative use of archives, researches, and development of future project ideas. The grant will support the process to develop new projects and artistic expression as a core that would result in a collaborative activities, including artistic and creative exchanges, knowledge and practice, or the co-production towards a new artistic or creative output. While we expect applications covering all art forms and outcomes, applications that respond to the following priority themes will be prioritized during the selection process. Those priority themes including diversity and inclusion, as well as responding to climate emergencies. As for the eligibility conditions, the first one that is every point is very important, but the first important point is a complete application should include project budget, partner agreement letters, and the CV of the project leader. A complete application must be received within the submittable application site by the 2nd of September 2024 before it's at 23:59 GMT. So please make sure that the time zone is GMT. So please convert the time zone as well so that you can still follow the deadline. And each application must comprise of at least one UK partner and one partner from featured countries from Asia Pacific. And then if applicants are applying as organization, then the organization must be registered in the UK, or if it's an organization in one of the Asia Pacific country, then it should be registered in that particular country as well. Individuals are, of course, all welcome to apply. And the project proposals must have timeline ending no later than the 31st of October 2025. Another point is the proposed project must be arts and cultural projects. So it could be on any art form as detailed in the slide: architecture, creative technology, film, literature, music, visual arts, performing arts, etc. We welcome proposals for, of course, cross-disciplinary or cross-art form projects, projects that are themes relevant to creative economy, such as also cross-disciplinary arts projects such as arts and science or arts and creative technology. Please also note that funding bodies are not eligible. The next slide is on evaluation criteria. So all proposals will be selected, will be assessed based on these 4 criteria. And each criteria is on the same weight of 25%. The first one is on artistic quality. And the second one is on partnerships. Very important to demonstrate in the application that it is a project that is mutually and equally benefiting for both the UK and the Asia Pacific applicants. The third one is the management. So this is where the budget proposal, the timeline would be assessed to show that the project, how well planned the project is and how well resourced, and it should be demonstrated in the budget as well as in the timeline. And the fourth criteria is around how well the proposal is demonstrating its relevance to the themes of diversity, inclusion, and environmental sustainability. And this is not just always in the what of the project, but also in the how the project is being done. So as much as possible, if you can incorporate that into your proposal, you will be able to score quite well in this area, because of course we are not just looking of the project that is talking specifically on the issues, but also in how the project is being managed, is being administered, how well you actually incorporate diversity, inclusion, and environmental sustainability in all layers of your project. The next one is on the grant timeline. The application is due on the 2nd of September 2024. Again, the time zone is GMT in 23:59. So it's just before midnight. And all applications must be lodged and submitted through the application portal, which is the submittable website. Following that is the selection process. We will take around 2 months throughout September and October to do the selection process. And then following that, all applicants could expect to hear the outcome of their applications via email on the 31st of October 2024. Following that, successful applicants will sign a grant agreement by the end of 2024. The payment will be made about 30 days following receipt of each invoice. So there may be specific payment conditions per country that we will advise to each successful applicants upon notification. And then following that, there will be grantee orientation that will happen in January 2025. This is covering all of the requirements of the project delivery, including how to report, how to communicate, how to manage risks, etc. And then, of course, there's the project grant delivery itself, which we recommend to start as early as December 2024, and then project has to finish by the 31st of October 2025. British Council staff will be in communication throughout the project delivery process to support and to also hear the updates of the project itself. And the grant project completion. So as indicated before, all projects must be completed by the 31st of October 2025. And then after that is the reporting process. And we expect that the reporting is submitted within 30 days of the end of the project. And for projects that is longer than 6 months, we would be requesting an interim report or progress update, and that could be submitted midway, so around month 5 of the project. Before you submit an application, we highly recommend you to read through the application toolkit and frequently asked questions. My colleague will be sharing the links also in the chat, and of course we'll be circulated the full links on email after this meeting. And then because the requirement is that you have a partner, then please make sure that you have sufficient time to have discussions with your partner and to form your collaborative project idea, and of course plan the timeline to complete the applications form as well in English. General rule of thumb is that you always read through the guidance very carefully, and if in doubt, go back again to the guidance. And then if you still feel that unclear after reading the resources, then there is the inquiry form in which you can write to us to submit your inquiries. Applying through the submittable portal, so you first need to create a free submittable account if you haven't already have one. And then, so the only way that you can actually submit is just through the submittable account. So you need you need to have an account to be able to actually see the application form and to actually be able to submit your applications in full. It is actually advised to keep an offline copy of your responses, just in case if there's any unexpected technical issues. It's always good to start offline, and then once you are ready to submit that, you can upload all of your questions, and that way it's easier to manage as well. And if you have any questions or concerns in creating the submittable account, there's like a help page to support. Or you can, of course, also contact us at the given link. And also, it is important that you keep and share the information. You agree to keep and share information for the purpose of the grant application. So have that conversation with your partner very early on around consent, around information sharing and data sharing as well. Advice on completing the application. The key things to prepare is almost all questions for the new applications and for the new applicants and the previous grantees are the same. So yours and your partner's contact details will be required. We also will be requiring CVs of the project leader, portfolio links, and letter of agreement for all partners. The submittable platform will let you save your application draft as you go along. So please make sure that all the details are correct, because once you once you press the submit button, there is no more editing permitted. So please be quite careful before you hit the submit button. Hence, we recommend you to actually work on an offline version so you can review everything before you actually submit it through the submittable platform. The submittable application form has collaboration enabled. So you can actually share the account credentials with your partner. So both can actually work on the application form together. The link is visible on the top right-hand corner, name invite collaborators. So it's easy to navigate once you create an account and have a look at the application form. And once again, it is very important that the application is being done in English. And in terms of the proposal, please respond also to the main criteria, the 4 criteria that was indicated before. So think about, here are the questions that could help you in affirming your proposal. Is that what are you going to do, and how and why you're going to do it, when and with whom, and what is innovative and unique of the proposal. And think also about the short-term and long-term impacts of the project that is trying to achieve. What is the project plan and timeline, and how is the budget looking like? And in terms of the budget itself, please do the proposed budget in GBP, in British Pound Sterling. Tips on responding to the good collaboration, to demonstrate it's a good collaborative partnership. Here are the questions as well. It's like, see whether there's an alignment in the values and ways of working between you and your partner. And also looking at working frequency, frequency of working together and the intensity. And also think also about who would be the lead partner, who would be the lead applicant in the proposal. So the lead partner or the lead applicant will be the person that British Council contact for support for risk and issues, and also will be the first main contact to also manage the grant contract with British Council. So important to have that discussion with your collaborator as well, who would be the best person, the best partner to be the lead applicant or the lead partner. And also think about the intended or the targeted reach for your project. Who are your target audience? Who do you intend to have online or offline as participants or as audience? And how many you expect to reach through your activities, and what sort of platforms that is suitable for your partners or for your audience and participants as well. This is especially important considering, let's say, if you're working with partners or you're targeting audience in places where, let's say, certain digital platform are being blocked. For example, in Indonesia, we are not able to access Vimeo, for example. And I know in countries like China, I believe that they are not able to access certain platforms such as WhatsApp or Google. So it is something that you need to be mindful in your project planning as well, and always be in close discussion with your partners. And in terms of the access support, we will ask applicants to embed audience accessibility into their projects and explain how the project, what the project will do to address accessibility, and include any accessibility costs in the budget proposal. We always encourage that all CTC grants projects are as accessible as possible. And if the accessibility is related to the applicant, uh, for example, personal access costs for individuals to be involved in the project planning or the project design or the project delivery, they can actually able to request additional funds beyond the core grant amount. So you can there is like a specific question where you can indicate that in the application form. And if you identify as disabled, you're welcome to contact us at the link given, which is the inquiry form, for possible support that we may be able to offer to assist with making the application. And it is very important to note that there are British Council policies and requirements should you propose activities which would involve children and vulnerable adults. We do have a very specific toolkit and guidance around working with children, around involving children and vulnerable adults in your project. There is a link to access the full guidance and the full policy in the application toolkit and in our FAQ as well. Submission and inquiries, again, the deadline, please remember the deadline, be mindful of the time zone. And that is the link to put your more specific questions, which we will do our best to respond. And that is the inquiry form. And then if you have any technical issues, there is a technical help button in Submittable, which you can click, and they would be able to support you with technical issues you have in Submittable platform. And for the next slides is some examples of our past CTC projects. So we will be circulating these PDF slides in which you can get more references and understand the types of projects, the variety and diversity of the projects that British Council has support under CTC, just to perhaps give you more ideas and give you more references. Just moving through the examples. Yeah, so we're done with the presentation. And we can now move on to the question and answer. Thank you. Can I perhaps ask my colleague to identify which are the first questions or the first participants who can ask their questions?
Yes, Willow, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just had a question about the creative side of the projects. Would something that was involved with archives, but was also like a podcast storytelling project, qualify as a creative project?
We need more information, but I think ideally, as much as possible, if there is like an archive and there's a way for you to respond creatively through that. For example, if it's a podcast, I imagine like, I don't know, maybe responding to poetry or something, but then the output is like in a podcast. It is, I would imagine it is something like that. But I think the key thing is to try to respond to either like, let's say, archive or research report of some sort in a more creative way. And in terms of how you want to present it, either through a podcast or create a documentary or any output is totally fine. But I think the key idea is how to respond to something creatively and artistically for it to be considered as a creative project. Would that be okay? Feel free to ask follow-up questions if you have. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, then Lynn, please go ahead.
Yes, hi everybody, and thank you, Lavina. And I'm Lin Tet from Myanmar, and I'm the head of art. So I am picking some questions. So thank you so very much for asking many questions. My colleague Ni Jing has been so very kind to respond them some of them. So I
Sorry,
am.
Lynn. Sorry, I mean Lynn. They raised their hand.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
There is also someone called Lynn.
Okay, yeah. So
Thank you,
please,
Lynn.
Lynn, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I can't turn on my camera, but I have a few questions. So first one is, how do you have like a directory of participants in Asia? Because I'm particularly looking for partners in Vietnam and mainland China. Or is there a networking session, any opportunities to meet those partners?
I wonder if I can welcome my colleague Ni Jing to respond to that. If we have any existing, like perhaps directories or list of creatives that potential applicants could look into, especially from China and from Vietnam as well, if you know any, Ni Jing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Actually, it's quite a specific relating to China or the Vietnam. So I would suggest that you register to our inquiry form, and then when we receive the request, we can refer it to our China team and Vietnam team, who will be able to give a more comprehensive support.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions actually, if it's okay.
Yes, please.
So the second question is, what is the eligibility for individual artists? Do you require any particular experience or awards?
No, there is no eligibility for individual. It's the same, the eligibility requirements that that you will see in all of the toolkits and all of the information online. It goes across the board for individuals or organizations. So which is why in the requirement for the applicants, we require to have CVs and also links to portfolio. That is for us just to show what the artist has done previously. But that is just to show whether or not you're an artist. So it won't actually affect whether or not you're actually eligible to apply or not. I mean, if you identify as an artist, then you're an artist, and I imagine you would have like a list of portfolios or CVs to prove that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it is just to prove your identity as an artist, but not so much would affect any of your it wouldn't actually affect the selection process, because again, the selection process will be looking at those 4 criteria only.
okay.
Yeah, and also just to add that in the application form, there will be questions to ask you to give us information about yourself. So whether you are applying as an individual or also as an organization, we would hope you to give us more information of the work you have been doing, the recent achievements.
So we're applying as a team, and I'm a producer, and I'm working with a director, and we're looking for partners in Asia. But in that case, do we need the director to apply, or the CV you want is the director's CV, or would it be the producer or the whole team, or what information do you need?
Can I take
So,
this, Nijing?
Yeah, are you talking about you're applying as individual or as organization? I know you have a team, but is it an organization or it's just a group of freelance
A group of
artists?
freelance. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I would suggest that you discuss with colleagues in the team to agree one person as the partner. So this person will be the partner in this partnership to put forward the apply and also to work with the counterpartner in Asia Pacific to deliver the project. But the others will also join to help to deliver the project.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, okay.
And will the grants be paid in installments? Or is it all paid in one go?
Usually we'll be paying in 2 installments. So 70% at the first installment and 30 at the end.
And that is happening between December 2024 and October 2025. Is that correct?
If we conclude the contract in December, then the payment would be expected in January.
Uh-huh.
And then
Okay.
depending on when the project will be finished, some project will be finished in July or June. And then after the project finish, everything is settled, we will be paying the final payment.
Okay, that sounds good. And I wondered what the definition of completion would be. Is that delivering the project to you? And because, well, particularly I'm working on an XR project and it's a deliverable. It's not an event. So, do we send that to you, and would you consider it as a completion, or would the premiere of the work at a festival or other events be the definition of completion? And does that have to be before October 2025?
I think it's quite a specific case. We may need to discuss a little bit more. But in general, when you design the project, you will come up with the design, the overall design of the project. What is the timeline? What are the expected output to deliver in the project design? So you basically, in your project proposal, you will say what is the end of the project, what you expect to achieve after the project. So that will be the end point of your project.
Okay.
You need to fund your own deliverables.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, for your questions.
Devinda, please go ahead. Hello.
Devinda?
So
Ah, okay.
okay, maybe we can move to Dr. Ing Andri. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Levina and Bu Hafsari. I'm from Indonesia and I would like only one question. Is it possible for me and also my partner in the UK to do the project not in both countries, for example, to the other places? Or we should do it also in whether in Indonesia, for example, for me, or in the UK, or we can do it outside these countries.
Ideally, we would highly recommend for projects to, if it's like UK and Indonesia collaboration, then we would highly recommend the project to take place in either UK or Indonesia. But depending on the nature of the project, we open for applications of, proposals for project to being delivered in other places as long as that other places is still part of the eligible countries within the Asia Pacific countries that are featured in this program.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
noted.
also, as it's a collaboration project, we would expect that the project will mutually benefit both sides.
Okay, noted. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And now, Emma, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Emma from the small publishing house, the Emma Press. So I have a few questions, mostly just about how publishing fits into it. So I guess it's the difference between like publishing, I think, is a creative process, but we'd be working with writers as well. I just wondered if you had any thoughts on, I don't know, like our collaboration would be with another publisher or a magazine we're thinking of. And that would be the main collaboration, I guess. And then artists, like writers, would be collaborating too. But would the emphasis be on the writers as the kind of like main artists, or does the act of publishing, does that count as a creative act as well?
The act of publishing should be part of the creative process, but of course, we want to also see, as much as possible, we want to see a creative process between writers, or I imagine if it's book, there's also involving creative process between designers as well. So as much as possible, try and demonstrate there is a collaboration between UK and between a creative or arts practitioners or organizations in the UK and one other country in Asia Pacific.
Okay, so collaboration just on all levels as well.
Yes, ideally all level.
And then my second question is, I kind of know the answer, but is the emphasis more on the end product, like the delivery, because the collaboration would be mostly happening in the processes. So, for example, workshops to generate something, but when writers would go away and write their own things, so that doesn't seem so collaborative. I don't know, is that an issue, like with workshops and then going away and writing something? I guess it's inspired, but I don't know, is that?
Yeah, it's eligible. You can actually put in you can, the budgets could also cover for, artist time, artist fee.
Okay, and then my final question is sort of maybe similar to the previous one. If we were publishing in both countries, would they have to be in the same form? So, for example, if the works that were generated were published in a magazine in Malaysia, but like we're not a publisher, like would they have to be published in a magazine in the UK as well, or would it be possible to kind of showcase something as long as they were published in some way?
That is correct. The main idea is for under CTC, we want to make sure that there is an equitable and mutual, but you can demonstrate it in different ways. So let's say if it's in I don't know, I'm giving example. I respond better using example. So let's say if it's like a publishing, so make sure that there is a creative output that goes towards the Indonesian audience, and then there's a creative output that goes towards a UK audience as well, but they don't necessarily have to be exactly the same.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Next, Rocky Kettingson. Sorry if I mispronounce. Please go ahead. Hello, Rocky. Okay.
Hi, sorry, I might muted. You hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I have two questions. One is, can the Asian Pacific partner be based in UK? And this partner has had artist activities in UK.
So what we define by Asia Pacific applicant is that they have to be based and work in any of the countries featured under that Asia Pacific geography. And the
Okay.
same goes for the UK. So we are not looking at the passport or the nationality, but we are
Okay.
looking at where are you working at, and yeah, whether or not you are part of a particular country's art sector, regardless of your nationality or your the issuing country of your passport.
Okay, thanks. My second question is, do our projects have to be completely new, or can they be the extensions of our previous project or previous partnerships?
Yeah, it could be an extension of a previous partnership. Sorry, can I just clarify? When you mean new or previous partnership, is that a previous partnership or previous project supported under any of British Council funding?
No, just the existing projects.
Yeah, totally fine. You can, it's eligible.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
that's all.
just
Thank you.
to add that, but there should be some new element, so you're not just repeating an existing project. There should be
Okay.
new element. So if you're working with some existing partner, but you are working on a new project or a new element of the project, yeah, that would be fine.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Wendy, please go ahead. I think you're
Hi, Wendy.
on.
Seems we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, Wendy, we cannot hear you. I know that you're already unmuting your mic, but we're still unable to hear you. Maybe you could try again later. If not, try and post your question in the chat.
And then
We cannot hear you, Wendy.
Can you
Sorry.
hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
we
yes,
can
we could
hear
hear
now.
you.
Yeah, I had it on the wrong thing. I just wanted to ask about the theme. You mentioned, I mean, climate change, I kind of understand as a theme. I don't quite understand diversity and inclusion as a theme. So could you just sort of explain that a little bit more to me? How you what is diversity and inclusion as a theme? Is that what the piece should address? It should be talking about that. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, Wendy, for your question. So in terms of the theme around inclusion diversity, you do not need to specifically respond to it through your project, but the way that you could do it is you can demonstrate how, when you are working on your project, from let's say the designing, the planning, or the people that you involve in the project, that it is there's an inclusion and diverse element into it. So perhaps you can try and diversify the project team so that it involves people from different backgrounds. For example, so we are not just specifically looking at how you're actually responding through diversity or inclusion issues through the project, but in also we will be happy to look at how project is actively embedding diversity and inclusion in how they run their project. So not necessarily always have to be in the what, but in the how.
Okay, and back, I don't quite understand the back, like, is there a list of backgrounds that I could be including? I don't
Yeah.
understand, like, it must be one person's version of what is different, or so, I don't know, a collection, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe just give you another example for your consideration. So for example, if we are doing some performance, and then you consider that to provide easy access to disabled people. So you discuss with the venue to arrange some access support so that wheelchairs can go into the performance more easily. So that could be consideration of the inclusion and diversity.
Okay.
Or maybe some people, you arrange sign language translation for people so that they can follow your webinar.
Okay. Yeah, I think I understand.
Yeah. And besides also looking at access for disabled people, also consider whether or not the project is also open to like how you're actually also involving perhaps people of different ages, if possible, or if relevant into the project team as well, or people from different religious background. There's like different ways you can make your project a bit more inclusive and more diverse.
Okay, I think I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to Amrita. Go ahead.
My question is just about who will be assessing the grant applications and if we will know this prior.
Oh. Sorry, can you repeat your question? It's not very clear.
Sure. My question was, who will be assessing the grant application and will we know this prior?
So the selection panel will consist of a British Council Arts Manager and Arts Advisor, and we're also considering to include external assessor. So it really depends on the number of applications we receive. If we receive quite a lot of applications, then we usually would involve external assessors as well, who are usually also leading practitioners in their art form. And there is also a possibility that the selection process is randomized. So please also make sure that even though, let's say, you have worked with British Council before, but always try to make sure that the proposal and the application, imagine that it is being read by someone that's totally stranger. So that's always a good tip.
Of course. And then the other question I have, I think it's similar to somebody else in the chat, is it okay to have multiple partners across countries? So for example, if the producing company I'm working with is in Australia and I was the lead artist, there's another artist based in the UK and we have a few venues that are in the UK, this is okay, yes?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, it is okay. Thank you, Amrita.
Thank you. Now, Emily, please go ahead.
Hiya, thank you for the webinar today. I just have a quick question around the timeline with projects needing to be completed by October 2025. Does audience engagement need to happen during that grant period, or could the grant be used to cover the creation of an artwork or a creative output by the partners in UK, Asia Pacific from January to October 2025 through workshops with communities, if the public exhibition of the artwork doesn't happen until after the grant period, so in November 2025? Would that be okay, or would the exhibition need to happen for October?
Yes, it is okay. We understand that because the time frame of the delivery is quite short, it's only a maximum of 10 months for CTC projects. So we understand sometimes you put the output towards the end of October and then it would garner more audience, but then it's already past the project reporting cycle. That's totally fine. We would just count what you have during that reporting cycle.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Rohit, please go ahead.
Yes, hi. This is regarding the grant. Now, is the grant given based on the country or the region?
Country.
Okay. Thank you.
It is given based on the country. So if, let's say, it is an application between UK and Indonesia, then it will be the grant contract and the grant funding itself will be managed and administered by Indonesia team, my team, if it's a UK and Indonesia. Is that all right, Rohit? Do you have follow-up questions?
Yes, thank you. No,
Thank
that's
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emmy, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can. I have two really quick questions. The first one is about the timeline. So I'm working on another project up until April, but we believe that we would be able to deliver the project from April to October. Is that okay? Do projects have to start earlier than that?
It's totally okay. So you can start from any time as long as you end by the 31st of October 2025.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then my second question is, the partner who I'd be delivering the project with got a Connections Through Culture grant last year with a different partner for a different project. Would that like limit our chances of getting it, or is that not considered? No.
No. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Thank you. Yeah. Selection criteria is that four.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Tarindu, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance and thank you for the presentation. I have two questions. The first one is we are trying to do a project where an art form is digitized. So we are trying to take it out to the world. So the UK partnership would be providing the digital aspect of it, whereas the Sri Lankan partners would be doing the art form of it. Would that be something acceptable? So you have said about virtual reality, etc. In the that would be allowed. So that's the side that we are working on. Would that be something interesting for this grant?
The main thing I think for this grant is that if you are able to demonstrate there is artistic or creative collaboration between UK and your country, then you are eligible. But try to demonstrate the collaboration process a little bit. Try to make sure that you demonstrate the collaborative aspect clearly in the project proposal, because the collaborative process is quite important. It's quite the main criteria of this grant as well. So I think that's how I would answer it. If you have follow-up questions, yeah. Do you have any follow-up questions?
Yes. Yes, the second question is, what sort of things is the grant allowing to purchase? So, for example, if we are going with VR, that sort of technology, we would need some IT equipment. Would that be allowed?
Nijing, would you like to come in on the purchase of technical equipments for CTC?
Yeah, I think that's we have to know more about this before we can give a definite answer on it. So I would suggest that you approach us at this inquiry form and give more details of it, because we need to know whether this equipment is specifically for this for this project use, or is something much more general like laptop, or whether it is a special software you must use in order to deliver this project. We need to know a little bit more.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Ria, please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Okay. I want to ask about budget. Talking about the budget, I'm from Indonesia and will be collaborating with UK artists, actually in a residency program, with the outcome being an exhibition. My question is, is the flight, per diem, or living costs and outward shipping included in the GBP 10,000, as you mentioned, or are these additional costs that I need to submit separately? Because I still confused about the budget.
So, going back to the purpose of CTC grants itself, it is to support artistic collaborations. So, try to start from what you want to do under the CTC, and then the budget should correspond to that. But to answer your questions around like travel and per diems and accommodation, those are eligible eligible expenses that could be included under the budget for CTC.
Okay, thank you. I have one question. Can I hire a partner to accompany me in the residency in the UK? As my artist partner actually, and he's from Indonesia. Is it the cost is covered as well, or just me? Just because actually I just maybe an individual project.
Individuals are eligible to apply, Ria. So if your partner who is also based in Indonesia is involved in the collaborative process of the CTC project that you would that you are applying for, then yes, that person could also be included. That person's expenses could also be included in the budget as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
we need to see the role of your partner in this project. So what role he is playing in this project?
Actually, we want to collaborate in the artworks, because she's a visual artist too. Because maybe we will collaborate with the UK artists together. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Wiggy, please go ahead. Wiggy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Hello. I'm Wiggy. I'm Indonesian, but now live in the UK. So I have this initiative called Future Reality Design, where we focus on journaling innovative design practice. And I have been running a series of talk events, specifically symposium, on the topic of transdisciplinary practice at the intersection of design, engineering, and science in creating innovation. So I always invite speakers from Indonesia and the UK as a part of exchanging knowledge, culture, and practice, and I'm running it from UK. My question is, I don't have a legal organization yet, so this is like individual initiative, and I'm running this with my brother while he is in Indonesia. So my question is, should I apply as an individual and find an individual partner in the UK for applying this grant?
Do you already have do you already have an organization that is registered?
No. That's
Okay,
what
then
I'm saying. Like,
individual.
I don't have a legal organization yet. Yeah, then
Okay, then
individual.
individual.
But do I
Yeah.
need to? Okay. But do I need to find a individual partner in the UK as well?
Are you not based in the UK?
I'm based in the UK.
So we would consider you as the UK applicant then, and which means for you to be eligible,
I
you
see.
need to have an Indonesian partner to apply this project together. You're based and working in the
I see.
UK, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, then you would be the UK partner,
I see.
and you would need to find an Indonesian
Mhm.
partner for you to be
Oh,
eligible to
okay.
apply for
So
this proposal, to apply for CTC.
I see. So instead of looking for a UK partner, I should find an Indonesian partner.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First, I just would like to clarify to the organizers, we still have 8 more people who raised their hands. So should we continue and answer them all? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then next is Melissa. Please go ahead. Hello, Melissa, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. I think you actually might have just answered the question, but I am Filipina but based in the UK, and I'm planning to collaborate with artists and musicians in the Philippines. So basically, I would just want to ask if that will count as a qualified partnership. Yeah.
Yes, you are based and working in the UK, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. Then you would be the UK partner.
Amazing. And just a quick follow-up as well. Does the project need to be fully funded by the CTC grant to be executed?
Nope.
Not necessarily. Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
you can
That's
apply
all.
for other sources of funding. Oh yeah,
Right.
for that, actually, if anyone who would like to use CTC grants as a part of like a bigger funding for your bigger project, please note that in your application, so that the selection panel are also aware. And British Council have some, I believe, Nijing, you need to correct me if I'm wrong. We do have restrictions, right, around co-funding, that we do not do co-funding with like tobacco company. Correct, Nijing?
Yes, I think that means we will need to do some due diligence check of the partners.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Quinn.
Late, so I didn't know if is there any questions related to residencies before, but I would love to get to know more. If you can tell me anything related to the for the project funding in terms of residency program. Like, for example, if the artist already applied to the residency, but because usually, from my understanding, most of the residency in the UK, they should have like institution support or government funding. But most of the case in Vietnam, we don't really have like any like grant or funding for artists from Vietnam to do a residency in the UK. So in this situation, I would love to know if we can apply for residency in how to say, like because if the applicants got acceptance, or if it's still in the because if we didn't know the outcome, can we still apply? Or if we already have like something like a connection with the residency program, and we can use this like how to say, funding for the artists, can have like, for example, like 2 or 4 weeks residency at the institution in the UK, and can develop a project and outcome like an exhibition.
Quinn, I think we would need more information on your specific case, but in general, CTC could be used to support residencies. There are instances where we have supported Indonesian artists having residencies in the UK. I think what we would like to see is that how CTC grant could be used to add more value into the existing residency plan, whether or not it could be used for having like an added element of a collaborative practice that could be supported under CTC. So we, as much as possible, we want applicants to use CTC for collaborative activity instead of just for mobility grant, if that makes sense, Quinn. But if you have follow-up questions, feel free to drop us a note on the inquiry form, and we'll be able to give you a more definitive response on that.
So thank you for your answer. So now I understand it's not it's not to be like two ways, like something interest between the one
Correct. Yeah,
from
it should be two-way. Yeah.
Yeah, because the one in the UK just like the host institution and like the exhibition venue, so it would not
Yeah.
be work for this one. So for
Yeah.
example, can I also have a sub question? Like if a curator based in a gallery in the UK, but she's Italian, but it still count if like the artist and the curator can work for a team and create an exhibition, and we can propose for CTC.
Yep.
So this will be
Regardless of the nationality, if that person is working and based in the UK, then that person is eligible as the UK partner. But you mentioned that already. It has to have that two-way reciprocity, like that mutual benefit for both sides. So the UK has to also benefit, but of course, definitely Vietnam has to also benefit from this project, from this grant funding.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So now I understand it's better. So it's work more that way with artist and curator and together create like an outcome than for the residency. Because I was so confused when I read that in terms of residency and what can we do with that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Vanessa, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, thanks everyone. So I'm a curator originally from the UK. I'm working with a gallery in Sydney. We're looking at applying to bring out a UK artist for an exhibition that we're working on. If that artist was going to be, say, running some workshops for local artists in Western Sydney who already work with that gallery, can we put in the budget money to pay those local artists as part of that collaborative activity that the UK-based artists will be doing during their time here?
I believe so. So the local artists will be collaborating with that UK artist, correct? Vanessa?
Yeah, I guess it's less like making a collaborative work, but it's more like workshopping together and that artist maybe helping those Australian artists with their practice or mentoring potentially.
Do you think you would be able to demonstrate at least an exchange of practice, an exchange of skills in that process? Then it would be eligible for the cost to be included in the budget proposal.
And can I make the case that it serves the overall exhibition in terms of benefit, or does the benefit have to be directly tied to the UK artist coming out here?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sorry?
Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure. What I mean is, I guess the UK artists will be coming out here to be part of an exhibition, and there will be other artists involved. So I guess what I'm trying to ask is that, you know, can we sort of use this grant to help bring in the UK partner and benefit them, but also to kind of develop our overall exhibition as well?
Yes, you can.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Aaron, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
So I am working with a British theater maker who has done work in England and Switzerland and Germany, and has done a lot of work in Vietnam and is now based in Vietnam. And he wants to create a theater company in Vietnam collaborating with Vietnamese artists. But if he's now based in Vietnam, is he eligible, you know, for this grant?
If he's based in Vietnam and working in Vietnam, then we would consider them as a Vietnamese counterpart.
And so we would have to find a UK counterpart in that sense.
Correct. correct. Yeah, because it's regardless of nationality and regardless of issuing country of the passport. It's like more on where is your practice based on. If your practice and you're working based in Vietnam, then that person would be considered as the Vietnamese counterpart.
So he would, if he's doing work in the UK, then he would be eligible as the UK counterpart.
That is correct. Yeah. So it really depends on where that person is working and where they're basing their practice. But it could be, I know that in some cases, after pandemic, people are traveling and working from different places. So it could be quite a specific case. So we welcome you to have a more specific, ask a more specific question through the inquiry form, Aaron, just so that you get the most accurate and most relevant response.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, Gary, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much for the session. My questions are regarding AI creativity because the projects that I'm working on have to do with equitable access to AI education in underserved communities, as well as creating AI enhanced filmmaking. So I just want to get a general sense of the council's receptivity to AI for this, the purposes of this grant. That's the first part of my question.
Thanks, Gary. So CTC is open across all art forms and including also digital and creative tech. So in general, AI would fall under that category. So you're of course very welcome to apply. And I think go back to the focus is that on the collaborative and the partnerships and artistic quality. Those main criteria would be what we will be looking at in assessing the proposals. So regardless of the art form or regardless of the, I guess, the type of creative output, we will be looking at those four main criteria when doing the assessment.
Okay. So the second part of my question is regarding the AI education component, because I'm trying to use original AI filmmaking to jumpstart a social enterprise that is neither a nonprofit and neither a typical business as usual. My question is, as part of this AI education platform that I'm trying to build, we are trying to have commercial products, a digital online course offering in AI filmmaking. Um, the, the nature of the funding would help to sustain the next stage of the platform, as well as help us to do research and create additional prototypes of AI education and how it would best serve underserved communities all around the world. My question then is, if there's a commercial application for the final artwork, is that something that would be negatively impacting the application? Should I not focus on that if that's the case?
Nijing, would you like to come in on that question?
Yeah, I think the final product, if there is a business use of it, it should be fine. But in the proposal, as my colleague Lev has already suggested, we would recommend that you look through the selection criteria and make sure that you can highlight the evidence to show you are meeting those criteria.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, I have a third part to my question. Um, so, so I'm just finishing an incubator program that gave us the opportunity to jumpstart this initiative. And obviously, for such a long project, there's many milestones that we have to hit. Um, we are heading into the next part of this initiative, which involves a physical exhibit of an NFT digital art that is pulled from the creative world that I'm building, a narrative universe that I'm building that explores the impact that AI will have on creative expression in the future. The purpose of the NFT is to jumpstart the social initiative. 50% of the NFT sale proceeds would go directly into a fund that we're trying to start for AI education in underserved communities. Now, because of the nature of the preparation for such an exhibit, can I use the funding retroactively? In other words, if by the time the results of the CTC grant comes out, the show has already happened, um, how should I approach that? How would I think about that?
Short answer is no, we do not fund retroactive activities. So hence it is very important that you consider that after we do the contracting. And then, yeah, that's why we recommend that the project as early as possible, maybe in December. Although I personally would recommend grantees to actually look into a bit later, later in 2025, like either January or February, just so that grantees already receive the funding before they actually deliver the project. Yeah. And also, Gary, just want to reiterate what Nijing has already mentioned is that try to demonstrate that the project is an artistic and creative project. Yeah. And again, the collaborative element must come through in the proposal as well. Because we will be, our pillar of decision making is that 4 main pillar, the 4 criteria indicated before. So very important to respond to that and clearly demonstrate the proposal responding to that 4 criteria.
I guess part of the reason I'm asking this is because in my application, I'm trying to show the connection between all the stages and that the momentum from one project leads to the next and how they can be connected in a strategic and meaningful way to use the funding to compound the impact. So in my application, I would try to illustrate the timeline thus far as I anticipated anyway, to show that by the time of the funding, it would be that significant. It would be able to help us to take it that much further. That's what I'm thinking. That would be appropriate, right?
That would be appropriate, but in our selection criteria also, I mean, we don't look like we don't, how to say, not that we don't care about impact, we do, but we really want to look into that 4 main criteria first. So of course, it's a good, an added bonus if you can actually demonstrate how CTC project would actually respond to like a bigger impact. That's an added bonus, but the selection panel will really base their scoring on that 4 criteria first.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I be allowed the last component of my question, which is just in terms of so I'm based in Malaysia currently. That is where most of the projects are happening. Is there a platform enabled through CTC or the British Council to look for British partners? Is there a forum or anywhere where we can kind of make a posting to see if there's any suitable partners that would respond in kind?
No, but I know my colleagues based in Malaysia have a link to directories of UK-based organizations or practitioners. So if you drop a note through the inquiry form, they would be able to refer you to that link.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your answers.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary. And now, Rose, please go ahead.
Hi, I have several questions, but I'm going to start by saying, Gary, give me a call later on. I am based in Malaysia and I do have a UK partner. So next, my question is, I have many questions. The first one is there are many questions on the chat box that have not been answered. Will somebody be looking at those questions later on and responding? And will we be able to have access to that chat box?
Yes, it will be incorporated into our FAQ.
Excellent. Okay, now I can ask the question that's not in the chat box. If we declare our project success milestones in our proposal, but as it's a creative industry, what if those milestones don't actually work out the way that we plan them to be? Meaning, let's say by March, if it doesn't turn out the way it is and it shifts and the actual outcome is different, how will the disbursement of the grant happen? Is it one lump sum right at the beginning, or do we have to demonstrate completion of certain milestones before we can get the disbursements?
Correct. You need to demonstrate certain milestone before you are able to get the final payment.
So project has to happen first without any payment, or there will be a initial seed amount. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, there'll be initial a partial grant will be dispersed after the contract is being signed, and then there will be a project progress report that grantees will need to complete, and then of course grantees would need to demonstrate project completion, and project reporting has to be completed and fully submitted before British Council is able to issue the final payment.
Is there anywhere in your document that shows a breakdown of what the progress payments would be in relation to the content, or is it project by project, separate, different rules for different projects?
I believe we are using 70%, 30%, isn't it, Nijing? Or is it 80-20?
Yeah, I need to double check. But I think it's a 70-30 or 80-20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning 70 upfront and then 20 upon
Correct.
completion?
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
And the disbursements, would that be to the Asia Pacific partner or to the UK partner, or whoever we name the lead project person to be?
Correct. Whoever is the lead partner or the lead applicant in the proposal would be the one who manage the fund and who manage the contract.
So it's one lead person, not equal UK and Asia, but it's somebody's being named as the lead.
Yeah.
Correct.
So just to clarify, when we're talking about lead, actually there can be two. So one is the lead partner, which means because we are open to both individual and organizations. So it could be organization or the individual as the lead partner. The other, what we said, is project lead. That is a person. So the two parties name one person to be responsible for the delivery of the project, the day-to-day delivery of the project to ensure the project is online, to manage finance. So that it's two different roles. One is lead partner, one is project lead.
And the disbursement goes to the lead partner.
Yeah, go to the lead partner. So it could be organization, could be individual, just depending on who is the lead partner.
And it cannot be the same person.
Can be the same person.
Oh, okay.
If it's an individual applicant to be the lead partner, also the project lead, then that's the same person.
Okay, all right. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Last question. Somewhere during the Q&A just now, there was a little bit of unclarity. Is it only one project per country will be given the grant, or it doesn't matter what country?
No, it wouldn't be the case. One project per country. It's not the case. So each country we have a rough country budget. Let's say that way. We have a rough budget for the country to fund several projects. But it also depends on the size of the project people are applying. So although it's up to 10K, say for Indonesia, but maybe the proposal is just for 3K, and then that means we can fund more projects.
So does that mean that there's only 10K for one country, or it's
No. 10K is one project. The ceiling for one project for the country like
but
Indonesia.
there is no quota. There's no quota per country, is there?
There is a rough indicative country budget. let's say it that way, but also depending on we have received good quality applications. So say, for example, in an extreme situation, maybe in China, say we have prepared to fund 5 projects up to 50K, but then we only received 3 good quality, then we won't spend 50. We will just spend up to 30, right? And also, if you are only applying a project for 2 or 3K, that means we can fund more projects.
Got it. And just to confirm, it's okay to apply for event-based funds, like if we are designing events to be part of the creative process, that is possible to get funding for that?
It doesn't matter what type of output the project would result in, as long as the proposal is responding to those 4 criteria. So if it's an event, as long as you can demonstrate that those 4 main criteria, then it's fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also just to add one thing is that for the proposed milestones, if you want to make any change, either by the timeline or by the outputs of the milestones, if you want to make change, because that we see as a major change to the project proposal, you should be discussing with our British Council team before you can make those changes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Now, Naning, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm concerned about time because I know that there are participants joining from Australia and New Zealand, which is quite late already, but yeah. Nanning, please go ahead, Nanning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. About the project where I'm from Indonesia, and the like, is it permitted of children in this project?
Nanning, I'm sorry, we're not able to hear you clearly. You're breaking up. Would you like to post your question in the chat?
Okay. How about now?
It's a bit better. Yeah, give it another try. Yes, we can hear you better now.
All right. Maybe I will try again. Is it permitted to involve children in this project? I mean, are there any special consideration or limitation when filming children for the culture performance, for example?
Thanks, Nanning. There's a specific guidelines that we have around working with children and vulnerable adults. You can access that guidelines in the application toolkit. I believe it's also available in the submittable application form. So I would highly recommend you to read through that guidelines to understand what are the recommendations and the guidelines from British Council when grantees are working with children and vulnerable adults. But in principle, it is eligible, but there are just certain areas that need to be, we expect grantees and applicants to be more mindful of. So we highly recommend you to refer to those documents, please, before you submit an application.
Okay, thank you. The last question. Is there a particular area of children involvement in art and culture that the program aims to support, maybe?
No. I think responding to that question is we do not have any specific criteria, but do look through that documents because that document would give you more information in how to engage with children and vulnerable adults in your project. And again, try to respond to the 4 main criteria in making your proposal.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Mitch, please go ahead.
Hello, thanks for this fantastic and very informative session. I just wanted to ask about the reciprocity aspect of the funding criteria. I'm trying to build a tour for an Australian show to come to the UK, and I'd like to work with multiple partners so I can turn that into a multi-stage tour and reach a wider audience in the UK. I'm having a conversation with one of those partners about how we bring some of the UK culture back to Australia, so to get that kind of two-way exchange. I guess I wanted to touch on this idea of having more than one partner, because you've been talking about it so far as though it's a relationship between two partners. So how do you think that the application might be strengthened by having multiple partners while still maintaining those kind of flows of exchange?
One of the ways that, thanks for the question. One of the ways that you could do it is there's an space where you can include what are the roles and responsibilities and what are those different partners bring into the project. That's one way to ensure that. And there is also, you can also, because there's a template.
Oh no, I lost you. Did she?
Hello?
Hello?
I think we lost Liv a little bit. I'm sure
she's come
she
back.
was trying to join.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, it's suddenly gone on a restart my device. Apologies.
It was the
There
crowd
is a
strike.
template for the partnerships. There's a template for the partnerships agreement in which I encourage you to invite all of those partners you would like to bring into the project to fill in and to sign. That would actually show that you already have an ongoing conversation, quite a strong conversation in which they are willing to sign that partnerships agreement letter. So those are, I guess, the two ways I could think of. Nijing, perhaps you would like to add more into this?
Yeah. Actually, we appreciate that in some situations, when you have multiple partners, it will help you to reach more audience and increase the impact. So we value that as well. As Liv mentioned in the application form, actually you can put in more than one partners. Our minimum requirement is at least one UK partner and one Asia Pacific partner. So if you have more partner, it's welcomed. And but please be careful that if it's all these additional partner are from UK, that's fine. But if any partner is from the country not listed as the eligible country for this round, then the cost relating to that partner cannot be covered by our funding. So that's something to be reminded. And also the partnership agreement. Yeah, each partner will need to sign that so to show that they understand the proposal and they agree to work on it with you. They understand how the budget is planned, how the project is designed. So they agree to all these things. And I think just one thing from personal experience of project management is that when you have more partners, it does mean you spend more time in your project management and coordination, because you have to coordinate with more partners to reach agreement to deliver things. So that means your management time, that will be a request on the resources you will input into the project management.
Yes, thanks for that feedback. May I just ask a follow-up question? The exchange that's happening, for instance, between the UK and the Australian artist, is it important that that takes place across multiple project locations? Like, for instance, if the Australian show that I'm talking about is going to the UK, can the exchange be described as happening in the UK between the Australian and the UK artist? Or does something of the UK artist need to come back to Australia? Like, do we need to present a work of the English partner in Australia?
Not necessarily exactly that way, as long as you can show in your project proposal the mutual benefit for both Australia and UK, then it should be fine.
Yeah. So mutual benefit rather than necessarily like practical. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be about the lesson or the knowledge that's been shared.
Could be knowledge shared or skills developed by Australian artists or by the UK artist or the target audience of your artist work, how people benefit from the artist work from both UK and the Australian communities.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your help.
Okay. Thank you. And now, Amrita, please go ahead.
I should have asked this before. I just have one question about Thailand. I currently live in Thailand. I make work in Thailand. I also make work in Australia, and I'm part of both of those communities. I noticed that on the form it says due to our office's foundation status in Thailand, grants can only be processed through the Thai partner. If I was applying from Thailand, where I've lived and worked for a couple of years, does this mean that it would be like through the Thai government, or yes, what is this? What is what is the foundation status for applying from Thailand?
Yeah, I think this question probably best to be handled by our Thai team. So it will be good if you log your question to this inquiry form. We will ask our Thai team to get back to you. But in general, I don't think it involves the Thai government in this case. It is the Thai partner in this proposed collaboration.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And now we have the last question from Easy. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. I'm from the UK and I'm looking to find partners to collaborate with where our artwork can make a difference within the healthcare sectors, including charities. I just wondered if there's anyone here that knows of anyone or that would like our help in this area, and if so, could they email me at izzy@pgreen.co.uk, or perhaps maybe one of the organisers know of hospitals or environments that really need some help?
I think in this case, do you have any in mind which country in Asia Pacific you'd like to work with? Do you have any thinking behind it? Yeah.
We'd really like to create a few artworks that would be relevant within all of these sectors, where it's the fact that the artworks make a difference for visitors, for staff, for patients within those sectors.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would suggest that you contact us at this inquiry form so that we can have more discussion and consultation with our colleagues in different countries.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we've answered all the questions from the people who've raised their hands. Levina or Nijing, do you have any other things to add?
I think Nijing, do you want to add anything?
No,
I think
you go
me.
ahead. You go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think we have answered the questions, those who are raising their hands, but I acknowledge that there's a lot of questions in the chat that we haven't managed to respond to, which we will incorporate into our FAQ, which then will be updated. And after this meeting, we will also be circulating the link to this recording and also the presentation slides, including the links that has been mentioned throughout the meeting today. I just want to thank everyone for their time. And apologies that we have passed through the initial duration, but thank you so much for your enthusiasm. And of course, shout out to my team, Nijing, Luna, and Lynn. Thank you so much for your support. And good luck for your applications. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you,
just to
everyone.
add that for frequently asked questions, probably it will only be published periodically. So if you urgently need a response, please do put your questions to the inquiry form to us.
Thank you, Nijing. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.